All right, hello everybody. My name is Chris McClure, and I'm going to be your instructor for Math 121 section WW3 College Algebra for this summer of 2014. So, what I want to do in this first video is just take a few minutes. I'm going to keep this short, but go through the syllabus with you and show you how to get registered with my math lab, and also show you Blackboard, which is essentially the website for the class. All right, so first of all, let's go over to the syllabus here. So I have emailed this out, and also it's posted on Blackboard. Let's go through it real quick. Of course, you could read this as well as I can. Let me just point out a couple of things. All right, so we're here at the Ankeny campus, but of course, you're out there at your house, your business, library, wherever you access this material. But I am based here at the Ankeny, Iowa campus, which is where the flagpole is, so to speak. It's the headquarters for DMAC. This is one of several sections of college algebra that we are running. This particular section is WW3. The WW stands for, of course, worldwide or whatever, an online class, and this is the third section. The CRN, course reference number 31814, is what specifically identifies this individual class. And if you need to add, drop, transfer sections, whatever, then you use this CRN number to identify this class right here. All right, here's my name, my email address right here, crmcclure@dmac.edu. But of course, if you have received an email from me, then you know exactly what my email address is. Let me just point out real quick is that when I do email correspondence with you individually or as a class as a whole, I'm going to typically use your DMAC email. So make sure that you've got a DMAC email address. And if you are not sure what that is, then I could direct you to the help desk here on campus, and they could help you get your email up and running. Here's my office telephone here on campus, 964-6543, if you need to call me. Email is better, but if you do call me and I don't answer, just leave a voicemail with me. Here's a typo right here. I could already tell you that my office location is building 4, but my room number is now 10B. So let me just tell you, change that 10A to 10B, as in 10 Bravo. Office hours, I can guarantee you I'm here every day from 2:30 to 3:30 in the afternoon. Also on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons, I'm going to be here from 4:45 to 5:45. And then any other time, if you would like to chat with me, that's perfectly fine. Just email me or call me, and we can set up a time. Now, office hours, which I'll mention down a little bit later, will mostly consist of you and me somehow communicating. I happen to like Skype. So if you've got a Skype account, then we can Skype. Otherwise, we could do it by email. And if you ask me some question or questions, I've got a nice little tablet PC, so I could write up a response to your question if you like. All right, moving down the syllabus here. All right, so this is summer 2014. This is an online class, so we don't have any particular days and times. Now, the days and times that you use or that you interact with the material is up to you. I suggest that it's 4 or 5 times a week. Now, I'll be posting videos about 4, 5 or so times a week. You'll notice my rhythm as I go through. Typically, Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, I'll post something, some sort of video. But I can't guarantee I'm going to do all 5 days. I've been known to do it on Saturdays and or Sundays as well, depending on what else I've got going on. But as to when you watch the videos, that's up to you, as long as you don't let yourself get behind. All right, here is a general course description right here. Kind of a laundry list of topics. This is a 4-credit college level math class. In order to be in this class, you needed to have completed already some high school level algebra. But even if you're rusty on this, we're going to do a quick swing through some review material during this first week or so. But it's going to go pretty quickly, so you're going to have to make sure that you get engaged pretty quickly. Now, as to what exactly the list of topics, well, what I've got here under course competencies is basically a whole list of everything that you're going to be expected to do by the end of this semester. All these competencies. All right. Course overview. Here's more of a description of what we're doing in this class. I'll let you read that on your own. Study tips. Just to kind of summarize again, you can read this on your own, but I'll just tell you that you really need to stay on top of everything to be diligent in reading the textbook, which should look something like this. And notice it's got over 1,000 pages. It's not going to, this class is not going to cover all of this material, but, we're talking about at least half of this book, though, we're going to cover this semester. So you need to be in the habit of reading every day. Not just reading, but studying, working through the examples, and then doing the homework. Logging in to do your homework, 5 days, 6 days a week, whatever works your schedule. Now, trying to do it 1 day or 2 days a week might be a little bit rough. But you decide on your own schedule. Now, also what I'll tell you is, we have learning resources here on the Ankeny campus. So if you live nearby, or somewhere near any DMAC campus, then you are eligible for tutoring at the tutoring center, as well as help at the Academic Achievement Center at whatever particular campus location for DMAC. So I encourage you to take advantage of that material. Also, there's a lot of material out on the internet. For example, Khan Academy. So any of these topics that you encounter, you're struggling with on my math lab, there are some, materials on my math lab to help you, but if you need a different perspective, go on the internet, go on to Khan Academy. If you're still not getting it, please, by all means, contact me, email me. Let's set up a time when we can get on Skype and we can talk about it, okay? But you have to be diligent and don't let yourself get behind. If you come across something, it's okay to sit and think about it, but don't spin your wheels for more than a couple days on something. All right, Math 121, this course satisfies that one math credit that you need to get your degree, but a lot of people who take this course also happen to be on the what we call the STEM track, STEM, which essentially means science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So, meaning someone who is taking this course is probably going to take trigonometry as their next course, followed by calculus 1, followed by calculus 2, followed by calculus 3, and differential equations. But Math 121 serves as the prerequisite for trigonometry, which probably should be your next class after this. Okay. All right. So I showed you what your textbook looks like. This is the textbook that we are using. At least this is the textbook that's being sold at the DMAC bookstore. I don't have a picture of the hard copy one that you could buy from Amazon, but here is an ISBN right here, code for the textbook. If you were to click this link right here, let's see where it takes us. I think it's going to look something like this. That, you know, if you buy this textbook, it's perfectly fine. That'll do the job. Also, if you were to, here on Amazon.com, type in algebra and trigonometry by Sullivan, maybe. Then, if you were to get this textbook, that would work just fine. If you want to get an older textbook, that's fine. You know, for example, this one you can pick up cheap. And same thing with this one. Just that an older edition is fine. As you can see, the older the edition is, the less expensive it is. Isn't that ridiculous? Over $2,000 for a paperback. But anyway, but just understand, though, that, you know, if you buy it through Amazon and you want the access code for My Math Lab, then you have to look for it. So you could do, for example, with My Math Lab and see what comes up. And see what textbooks come up that get shipped with My Math Lab. You could buy an individual. Don't get this right here. You can get an individual access code from our DMAC bookstore if you want. Otherwise, you could look for a version of this textbook right here out on the internet that comes with access code for My Math Lab. For example, it might look something like this. So if you were to purchase this right here, the new one, it would come with My Math Lab access code with it. Okay, so going back to the syllabus here. What's been asked of me already a couple times is, do you really need to buy the physical textbook, the hard copy textbook? And the answer is no. Because if you were to log on to My Math Lab and get registered with it, then you have access to the e-text. And if you are comfortable using the e-textbook, then you don't really necessarily need the physical textbook. Some people do it. I'm old school, and I prefer to study out of hard copy textbooks. If it were me, what I would do is, spend, a lot less than $100 for a decent used, maybe a slightly older edition textbook, and then purchase the access to My Math Lab for about $92. That's how I would do it. Otherwise, you can buy the new textbook. This is our version of it from the bookstore, the DMAC bookstore, or textbook outlet across the street from the DMAC Ankeny campus, and it comes automatically with the My Math Lab access code. Okay. But the short answer is you still need to get access to My Math Lab. I'll show you that here in a few minutes. Regarding what sort of materials do you need for this class, of course you'll need pencils, not so much pens, but I prefer to do all my mathematics with pencils. Okay. And when you take our test, where we have 2 exams, a midterm and a final, you'll need to do that in pencil. You'll probably want a binder or some way of organizing your notes. Maybe some graph paper to help you with your graphs, ruler / straight edge. Now let's talk about calculators. You don't need a very fancy calculator. A simple TI-84 calculator will do just fine. So you don't need a fancy TI Inspire calculator. I know that a TI Inspire is what a lot of people are getting nowadays. If you want one, that's fine. If you're going to be taking a lot of math classes beyond this one, or at a higher level, trigonometry, calculus, sequence, and so forth, go ahead and get the Inspire. But if this is the one and only math class, maybe this one and trigonometry, or trigonometry, go ahead and just use a TI-84 calculator, okay? TI-84 Plus. Now, be careful about buying a used one, especially a used one off of the internet. Buyer beware, because I've heard of cases of where people buy ones that are no good. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about how I'm going to grade you. Well, the grading structure is like this. The homework was 1/4 of your grade. There's going to be a series of quizzes at the end of each semester, which you'll take. Those are done through My Math Lab. I used to do something different in previous years, but you're just going to have quizzes that I'm going to create that you do at the end of each chapter. So those are chapter quizzes, and those will count as 25% of your grade. Midterm exam, which is proctored, by the way, that's 1/4 of your grade, and final exam is 1/4. So it's a real simple grading scheme, of course. Here's the nominal sort of way of I'll be figuring your letter grade, but I'll just tell you right now, I have a tendency to do some curving. Okay? To your advantage. I'm a very, well, not very, but slightly generous grader. It's not impossible to earn an A, but you have to earn it, though. Now, regarding posting of final grades, now Friday, August 1st is when I'll guaranteed that I'll have your final grades posted no later than. Okay, so I think I've already mentioned about office hours. If you want to talk with me in more than just email, let's exchange Skype information, and then we can chat. Okay. So I'm going to show you homework now. Now, a lot of you have done online homework in the past for other classes. It may or may not have been with My Lab by Pearson. But all your homework is going to be done using My Lab, My Math Lab in particular. Now, here's another little typo here. Last year, I had embedded it in the Blackboard site, and that caused me a lot of problems. And I think the technology is kind of hit or miss with it. So I've decided just to keep my math lab as a separate login. And I hope you don't mind. So anyway, if you were to fast forward, go to the very back end of the syllabus, look at the last page right here. I've got these registration instructions from my math lab. I want you to notice that we have a course ID right here for this course on my math lab. I'm going to copy and paste it right now. McClure 72199. And then I'm going to click on this link. And now to register with my math lab, you'll click on this link right here for registering. And it's going to tell you in order to get registered, you need an email address. Go ahead and use your DMAC email. Course ID, well, I just showed you it. And you need either an access code that came with the textbook that you bought, or maybe you bought an access code through the bookstore, or otherwise have a credit card / debit card handy, or a PayPal account. And then click on OK, register now. And here you'll go ahead and input that course ID number. Click on continue. Now, if you've ever used MyLab or any other Pearson product, then go ahead and use that, your username and password right here. Now, unfortunately, I can't register for my own course. Otherwise, I would do that for you. I would go ahead and do that. But so you would go ahead and use your same username and password. If you've forgotten it, then click on this link and recover your information. Otherwise, if you've never used MyLab before, then you'll click on this to create a Pearson account, and you go ahead and fill in the appropriate information. By the way, when you put your first name and last name here, make sure it's the same first and last name, that appears on your course registration for this for the college. So, because in the past years, I've had students who have interesting name situations where the name that they use here is different from what's on the registration. It takes me a little bit of time to get that figured out. So, security questions and answers, user agreement, or whatever. Here, click on this one, and then click on create account. And then what's going to come up next, and you'll have to discover this on your own, it's going to ask for your access code, or if you don't have an access code, then do you have a credit card or a PayPal account? Either way, you'll input your access code or your credit card number or a PayPal account information, and then you'll get registered. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and sign in. Because once you get registered, all you need to do is click on that sign in button. Let me try this again. Now, how it looks for me is going to be a little bit different from how it looks for you, because I teach a bunch of classes here. So then you click on this link. This is what the class looks like, at least the class name. So click on the link for the class. And you should just take a few minutes to kind of poke around, click on the different links and stuff. The homework will appear here. I haven't posted a lot of homework yet, by the way. Oh yeah, you got to disable your pop-up blocker. And oh, by the way, I've already posted 2 homeworks, including an orientation one. So to do your homework, all you need to do is click on the link and then go ahead and click on the first question. And the orientation is going to kind of step you through how to use this technology, and whether you've used my lab before or not, this will show you how to interact with this technology, including you'll see some problems where you have to input some numbers. So you'll see the palette over on the left-hand side. Also, let me tell you that, we enlarge that. Over here on the right-hand side, when you come across a problem that you don't know how to do, you could click on Help Me Solve This, and it'll step you through how to solve the problem step by step, and then it'll give you a new version of the same problem with different numbers. If you want to take a look at an example instead, which a lot of students prefer to do, you can, before you start your problem, you can click on View an Example, and it'll step you through step by step of how to do that sort of problem. But the numbers that you'll see in the example are different than your actual problem. Your problem may or may not have some animation, but by all means, click on it so you can see what's going on. Everyone, I think, has got 3 hours of tutoring, no charge, that comes with your registration, but anything beyond that, you have to pay some money. I don't know what the going rates are, but there are alternatives, though. Now, if you really get stuck on something, and you, between Help Me Solve This and View an Example, you still can't figure it out, click on Ask My Instructor, and it'll pop up a dialog box, and like this, and you'll have the chance to type a question. Hey, Mr. McClure, I've tried many ways to solve this problem, but I'm still getting it wrong. Can you assist? Or whatever. Kind of be detailed with it. Tell me what you've done already. Or, hey, it could be that there's a glitch. And now, this is pretty mature technology, but every once in a while, it seems like every semester, there's that one student who comes across that one problem that's got a bad answer. So if you come across something that you suspect is a glitch or an incorrect answer, just send me this message and I'll take a look at it. Okay. Also, you can print your problems. So what some people like to do, especially if they don't have a lot of access to the internet. So for example, if you live out in the country and you don't have good access to the internet, you can go to your local library and sit down and print all your homework assignments or your homework problems from each assignment by clicking on that button. And you can click on the homework assignment, the whole thing. All the problems will be printed out, and then you can go off, sit in a coffee shop or whatever, and then work out all the homework assignments, problems, and then log back in later, and then fill in the answers. Okay, so I'm going to back out of this. So now, regarding the e-text, you have access to the e-text book by clicking on chapter contents. There's each of the chapters right here, the review chapter, sections. So there's the review, chapter 1, and so forth. Let me go ahead and pull one of these up just so you can look. So you'll see this text come up. You can watch the videos, but don't worry about that study plan. But click on that multimedia e-text. You need to make sure that you have up-to-date software in order to pull this up. So what you'll see here then is just that portion, excuse me, of the e-text. and you'll just have to navigate around. So unfortunately, I've got a small screen here, so I can't really show you very much right here. But play around, try to navigate around, go from one page to the next. There we go. You know, there should be a slider bar on the right hand side. But anyway, you can navigate from one page to the next, to the next. Anyway. Alright. So there's your e-text. Tools for success. Let's take a look there. Algebra review card. If you want to watch the professor who wrote the textbook in action, you could watch these Camtasia videos. So if you've got the time and wherewithal, by all means. If you need some additional help with your graphing calculator, here are some tools that are very useful. And here's some other resources for activities and projects. If you like to watch videos and animations and stuff, if you want access to the PowerPoints, etc., they're all here. You just choose your chapter and your section and what media resources that you want, and then click on Find Now, and you should be able to answer them. Again, I don't want to discourage you from getting tutor services, but after 3 hours it gets to be expensive here. But if you click on this link, that follow the links, and you'll have access to the Pearson Tutor. There's course tools. And now, you probably won't see the course tools instructors do. But, you know, I have the ability to take a look at the grade book to see how everybody's doing. And at midterm and final part of the course, I'll be able to pull down your grades, your homework scores, and your quiz scores in order to figure out your grades. Okay. And also, I have the ability to look to see who has been spending how much time. So the amount of time spent for each individual. So if you're struggling with the class, getting a D or F, then I could take a look at how much time is being spent, and then we could talk about it. Okay, so going back to the syllabus now. So homework, we talked about homework. Make sure you stay on top of your homework, folks. Don't get behind. Do a little bit every day. What do I mean by a little bit? A couple hours, right? 1, 2, 3 hours, however much you need. You'll need to budget that time, daily basis, right? Quizzes at the end of each chapter. There will be a quiz. You'll see it. There will be 2 exams, a midterm exam and final exam. Both of those are proctored. All right. Now, what we mean by proctored is that you'll need to go to a testing center, whether that's at a school, as in a high school or a college. Most testing centers don't charge, but some do. You know, a couple dollars or whatever for the time that they take to proctor you. Another option is library. A lot of libraries don't mind doing proctoring. Let me give me just a sec. I'll pull up my proctoring form. And I sent out a copy of this proctoring form. I got it somewhere here, right here. It's a Word document that I got from a colleague a couple years ago, and I've modified it a little bit here. So here's some do's and don'ts, some left and right boundaries for proctors right here. Proctor must be at least 21 years of age. They need to have some sort of working business email, as in at a workplace. So if that proctor emails me with a Hotmail, Yahoo, MSN, Gmail, that sort of thing, email it. I'm not going to even do business with that individual. They need to be at a place of work. All exams must be given at a place of business, whether that's at a school or library. If you're in the military, for example, your commanding officer or some other commissioned officer could be your proctor. Proctors need to be able to watch you at all times. So here's some other stuff. Proctors need to know who you are. They need to be able to read the exam instructions to you, provide the formula sheets that I provide them, etc. Folks, it's very simple, really. You show up at the proctor, or this place, ask them, hey, can you proctor for me? And if so, then have them fill this out right here. You put your information right here, your name, Math 121, WW3, college algebra right here, and for term, summer 2014. And then your proctor will put his or her information, business, so it could be Ames Public Library or whatever, business address, work phone, cell phone, work fax if they're going to use a fax, email address, business email address for your proctor. Will exams be proctor at the above business, yes or no? And if not at the business, where? Right here. Put that information right here. And the proctor will sign and date, and then you can scan and email this to me. Actually, a proctor should scan and email it to me as a PDF, or they can snail mail it to me. Here's my address right here, or here's my fax number. Now, if they fax it, they need to let me know so I can go get it from the fax machine, because the fax machine is over on the other side of the building for me. Okay, now again, who can act as proctors? I've gotten that question a few times already. Well, if you look down this column right here, these individuals, so at your church, if you go to church, member of the clergy can act as a proctor, librarian, all right. So, for example, if you work at a medical clinic, then a doctor, psychiatrist can act as your proctor. Regarding proctor sites, here are some examples of acceptable proctor sites. Let you look at that. But unacceptable is at someone's home, at a private residence. Okay? So with that said, you need to let me know as soon as possible. If you don't live within a reasonable drive to a DMAC testing center, you need to let me know what your proctor site is and who your proctor is. Okay. The reason that we do proctoring is that there are businesses out there on the internet, as well as people who you might know, who are perfectly willing to do your online class for you. Well, One way that we can get around that is by demanding that students take some sort of proctor tests. So that's what we're going to do here. All right, moving along here. So your final exam and your midterm exam will be proctored. Now, I don't tell you you have to take your test on a particular date. What I do is I give you about a 1 week window. So what I'll typically do, for example, is on Monday morning of exam week, I'll email, because what I'll do is I'll type in all your proctor's information into a list in Outlook, and I'll send out your proctor, or your exams, I should say, to your proctors. And then your proctor will print out your exam, and you come in, take your test, and then your proctor needs to somehow get it to me. They can fax it, scan an email, or snail mail it. I prefer scan and email personally, but hey, however they can get it to me. Now, big concern here is for the final exam. Last summer was the first time I actually had taught an online class, and I ran into a problem for a couple of students who took their test on the very last day of the window, and their proctors didn't scan an email. They snail mailed their test to me. So I didn't actually get their test until after I had to post grades. So what I'm going to do is this year I'm going to kind of back up the window a little bit to make sure that that doesn't happen so much. Yes, you will be allowed to use notes during your exams. As you can see here, 3x5 note card, little index card, or for the final exam, you could use either 2 note cards, including the one from the first exam, or you can use one 8.5 by 11 sheet of notes. I typically provide some formulas too for these exams. You'll know exactly what you're going to get before that, okay? So here's my discussion about proctoring right here. I think I've already talked about it. So between this note and what I talked about in this video, please let me know. So the rest of this stuff is pretty standard language for a face-to-face class right here. Let me just take a minute to let you know that I realize life happens, and for example, you might get sick, or you might have family issues, health issues, personal issues. Maybe parents come from out of town and they demand to see you, or whatever your issue is. But you have to try to stay on top of your homework. But if something keeps you from getting your homework done by the due date, no problem. I've got it set up that you can still get in and have access to your homework past the due date. You'll just have to take a 50% penalty, okay, for any problems that you do past the due date, okay? So again, study expectations. So be diligent about watching your videos, about reading the textbook, not just reading, but studying the textbook, working through the examples, and let me know if you have any questions. So again, academic dishonesty basically means that the work that you present is yours and not somebody else's. It's okay for you to study with other students, but at the end of the day, the work that you present needs to be your own, though. Again, I use Blackboard. The add drop date, I believe, actually is July 1st. So make a little pen and ink change right here. This is July 1st, not July 2nd. If you have a disability and you need some sort of accommodation, that's no problem. for example, time and a half or whatever, but you need to work through. Here's the phone number right here. I think that there's a different individual than Miss Kuhn, but if you at least call this phone number right here, you'll be able to talk with someone about getting your accommodation request taken care of. But I can't give an accommodation without the paperwork, though. All right, here's the disclaimer that says, essentially, the syllabus is not a contract between you and me. It's accurate according to the information that I know, but if there's any changes, I'll let you know. Here's the standard non-discrimination policy that says that regardless of your status, gender, background, etc., that you will be treated the same. And other stuff for your reading pleasure right here. Okay, so one last thing for me to show you is Blackboard. Now, there's really not a whole lot for me to show you because the semester has just started, and I'll be populating this as the semester goes. But how you get to Blackboard is you go to the DMAC website that you see here, you click on Login, and under Login, go down here to Access Online Courses. And then you'll use the same login information as for your webmail. And then click on your course, which looks like that, college algebra. And again, I apologize because there's not a whole lot for you to look at here. But any announcements, like for example, when we have a test coming up, I'll make an announcement. You'll see it on the front screen right here. And plus you'll get an email anyway. Also up here in the upper left, I've got a copy of the syllabus right here. All you need to do is click that link. Instructor, that's me. My office is now in room 10B of building 4. There's my office phone, my email, and here's my crazy picture. I did a selfie a couple years ago, and I'm still keeping it. I like that background because I someday hope to have that crazy hair of Einstein. But right now I keep my hair short for the summer. During the wintertime I let it grow out. And then course content. Just a couple things that you don't see anything in these folders, but as we go through the semester, I'll be putting the PowerPoint slides, exams, and after you take your exam, and after I've got everybody's exam submitted, then I'll post the solutions under this folder right here. Any notes that I make right here, or I make during the course of a lecture, I'll save those as PDFs. And then, by the way, I'll create a new folder right here where I'll put the recorded lectures. Sorry, fat fingers today. So when I record a lecture and I render it, I'll put the lecture right here under this folder. Of course, you don't see anything there, but it'll be there soon. And also, I'll be posting the video on YouTube, and I'll send you a link to YouTube. Okay? So with that said, please let me know if you have any questions about anything. Some students have had issues with their access code, and for those issues, I could put you in contact with Megan McCatty. But just let me know if you're having issues with getting registered with my math lab or your access code or anything, and we'll try to get that figured out for you. But as soon as you possibly can, though, because I don't want to get much further down the road with you still having problems. Let's get those problems taken care of now. And same thing with the proctor form. Let's get your proctor form figured out, as in your proctor location. Now, I realize with the library or testing center, you don't know exactly who your proctor is going to be. Just get someone there who represents everybody else, who could potentially be the proctor. So I don't know what else to tell you, folks. So I'm going to sign off, and I'll be posting the actual first video from section R1 tomorrow. Okay? So with that said, actually I'm going to stop this now. So have a good day, and I'll see you later.